My grandfather told me this. I was babysitting my niece once while I was staying at my brother's place, and they had the baby camera set up so I could see her on the little TV it came with. I was studying and started dozing off when I heard some whispering and I realized it was coming from the monitor. I intentionally thought it was some feedback or something, but when I looked at the TV, there was a dark shadow near my niece's crib. I have never been more terrified in my life. But the shadow was clearly there, where it had not been before. I ran into my niece's room and looked around, saw nothing. But I looked her, and I took her the hell out of there and went back to the TV, and the shadow was clearly gone. I told my brother what happened, and he pulled me aside and told me not to mention it to my sister-in-law because she'll freak out. But that he had seen the same thing several times now, with the same whispering. They stayed in the house for a few more years, and when my niece just learning to talk, she would tell her mom about her special friend. To this day, it scares the shit out of me. When I moved out, my brother told me my niece had become constantly sad because she would miss her friend. Her mom would tell her she could bring him along, but all she would say was that he couldn't leave the house. We had never, to this day, told her about the damn shadow, and she apparently never saw it. Is there a demon? I'm not sure if I'm posting the right sub, but this is really freaking me out right now, and I need answers. It's currently 4 a.m. and my husband and I went to bed at about 2:30. Right before we got in bed, our toddler woke up. Typically, if we just put her to bed with us, and she goes right back to sleep. So this happens. We all go to bed, and this includes, it is 2:30 something. I sleep on the left side of the bed, and I laid down facing my two babies and my husband. While my baby fed on the right breast, I fell asleep. And it barely felt like a minute long. All of a sudden, I have this horrible feeling in my dream or sleep, like I wanted to die or cry. I'm literally crying. Typically this, and it's been an hour, and I hear a thump. And my 6-week-old baby, and literally on the floor to my left, screaming, and seriously jumped up in the most horrifying feeling in my body and my face. It literally felt like I fell asleep not even a minute prior, and somehow my baby ended up on the total opposite side of me and fell into the floor. Like he was in between me and my husband, not me and the floor. I screamed, my husband screamed, and the weirdest part is that we strangely shared the feeling that this was going to happen. Somehow, in our sleep, we knew he keeps getting chills and tearing up, and I can't stop worrying about how it happened. I have absolutely no idea. We checked the time, and it was only 3:27 a.m. My husband had always joked about having a demon in his life, and we had a couple strange things happen here. They're in different houses, but nothing remotely like this. My baby was dropped onto the floor when I fed him at night. I always woke up about 6 to 5 hours are falling asleep, with him on one side. I will notice he's matched. I pull my bra up onto the side and then hold him while rolling over. I wake up every single time. Like I said, it's hours after I fall asleep, and the last thing I remember is lying my head on the pillow and facing towards my husband and the babies. Next thing I knew, my baby was practically flung onto the floor behind me. Is there anything that makes sense? My desk stocked. I live in a 3-story house, and my room, etc., is on the 2nd story. Recently, the neighbors got an exchange student from Japan. We're not really close to these neighbors, but we're still friends with them. Keep that a note that I'm a high school girl, and I've been studying for exams, blah blah blah. The student is a boy that seems to be around my age, but a little older. When I saw him and stuff, we would wave to each other and smile. That's all. Just being friendly. When it comes to nighttime, I sit on my desk next to my windows and I either study, draw, watch YouTube on my laptop and stuff. Nothing much. But from my window, he can see me from his room. I always keep my curtains a little open of the right side to let some night air in. It's more or less a habit now. So one night I was sketching a new drawing for my friend, and then this light catches my eye. I don't think much of it, so I ignored it. But then about a minute later, the light comes again. I look out and it's the Japanese boy with his phone. He's startled and put his flashlight on and waved at me with his phone. And I just stood there by the window, by his window with his phone. I waved back like any polite person and semi-closed my curtains. I kept a tally on how many times he looked at me and the flash. I also kept a time record on how long he would stand there per time. The same thing happened for about 2 to 3 more times a night of him and his supposed camera flashes. When I gave up, I finally closed my curtains and I don't look outside in fear. He's taking photos of me. I look outside again and his blinds were always closed too. Now during day 2, he never has his blinds open since I closed my curtains. I didn't say anything to anyone because I thought I am overreacting and making it into a bigger deal than it actually is. I don't know. Thoughts? I always got a bad feeling whenever he stood there. Like and subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate that. And I did post a conspiracy theory video, but recently YouTube had a problem with it and it was taken down because it was glorifying death apparently, and also at the same time it was also hate speech. I wasn't trying to do that, it was just conspiracy theory videos, but obviously it's taken down and I got a warning, so I'm not reposting it. I probably won't do any conspiracy theory videos for a while because I don't want to piss off YouTube again and have my channel taken away. I don't want that, so I'm not going to be posting it. I hope this video doesn't get flagged. It's just creepy stories from Reddit. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome night. Goodbye.